Well, we haven't met since the election, right?
Correct.
That was this week that just went by.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so we have not met since then. The elections are over. Did you hear about that? And it was it was very, very interesting, to say the least. And though I'm not allowed, according to the law, to say promote anybody, so I'm not promoting anyone in this conversation, all right? I'm just talking about what I saw about the election. All right? All right. I thought the election revealed good versus evil like no other time in history. I really thought that happened. And I thought that it was quite, at least to me, obvious what has happened in our country. My first feeling was when it was all over, everything was all over, it was shock and sadness. And I mourned for 3 days, because you're not supposed to be sad but 3 days. And there is, beyond 3 days, yeah, beyond 3 days. And there is a time for sadness, there's a time for joy, there's a time for crying, laughter, all kind of stuff, a time for everything. And so I allowed myself to be sad for 3 days. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning when I got up, I washed my face and I'm on my way. But I was sad for several reasons. One is that I saw the death of America. It felt like a death happened. Like I lost a loved one. And I'm not saying that it's over for America yet. We still have a chance. But America died on Tuesday night. Not all the way there, but almost there on Tuesday night. And so I felt the sadness for that. And the reason for it was because somehow or another I thought that there were enough Christians in America who can see what's really, really going on. And they're going to vote based on those values that they believe in and that they talk about and that is in our hearts. I thought that it didn't matter what color you were or male or female, that the people were going to vote based on those values only this time around. And when I saw that did not happen, I realized that the Christians have lost for the most part. And the good is not as strong or powerful in most people as I thought it would be. It's not really encouraging people the way I thought it would. And I saw evil come together like never before. I saw the gay marriage thing come together with the abortion group, people who want to kill babies, unborn children. I saw angry, racist Black Americans come together along with the abortion people and the gay marriage group. I saw young, godless, single females, liberal females come together with the group as well. Women who want free condoms and they want us to pay for them. They want to be able to have sex anytime, anywhere without being married or without any notion that they're sinning and something is wrong with it. And these women also support gay marriage or same-sex marriage and abortion. I saw Hispanics come, and Hispanics are supposed to be Catholic and known to be Christians. You know, the families are still together for the most part. I even saw the Asian come out of the woodwork. I had never seen that before. Because they seem to be independent, working, family-oriented, kind of quiet. I even saw that group of people come together with evil and voted Satan. When I say voted for evil, voted for all the things I just named, same-sex marriage, abortion, more government in their lives, just all the wickedness united together and beat out good. They really defeated good. And I was surprised about that. And so I thought to myself, why so many young people voted for evil? All the things that are evil, right? And most of the young people would tell you that they're Christians, that they came from a Christian home. And I realized over the last 20 years, I've spoken at a lot of colleges, universities, and churches and rallies and organizations. And I noticed that the people who are promoting good, most of the time their children are not at these rallies, not on the side of good rally. They are on the side of evil. They're at the people who are on the side of evil at their rallies. And when you go to the universities to speak about values, the children who are from Christian homes are angry at you for speaking against same-sex marriage and abortion and all that. And you say, well, aren't you a Christian? Yeah, but people have the right. And so I wonder how you sing your child off as a Christian, and they still call themselves a Christian, and yet they vote for evil. And I realize that most Christian parents are not a living example. They're not living it. They don't have that mind of God. They have not been renewed from within. And so their kids are hearing about God, but they're not really seeing God operate in their families, in their homes. And when they leave, it's easy to influence them. And yet they call themselves Christian, but they're not guided by those principles. And I realized then that we're not totally gone yet, but we're definitely at the edge. We're at the cliff. When I heard that the Christians had lost, it was like a shock. It was like everything I thought was going to happen was gone. It was like there was an empty space between me and the world. And I'm like, wow. It's like nothing was there. And it was an experience I don't know if I ever had before. It's like you had hope in something, and it didn't work, and it made it hopeless. Not me, myself, but it was just nothing there. And so Andre and I was talking about it on my radio show, and my audio engineer, he said he felt the same thing, like a loss. And like he had hope in something, and he was pretty convinced that the hope was going to work, and it didn't work, and nothing was there. And so he realized that his faith was in the government. He literally thought that the government would come in and save us from this fall that we were in. And he realized from that he can't have his hope in anything but God. You can't have it in anything but God, because everything else is going to let you down. And so I allowed myself to be sad. I got phone calls from family members and friends, everybody and their mama calling up, Christians who say that they have won. Isn't that amazing? We won. I'm like, you voted for same-sex marriage. That's all right. You know, they are here anyway. You voted for abortion. Women have a right. I said, but aren't you a Christian? Yes. How did we lose the difference between the children of Satan and the children of God? How did they become one? You know, how come the children of God is winning? You know, why are we so? Well, I'm not convinced, but why are most Christians convinced about that? And I think we need to start looking within. We need to wake up, I'm telling you, because they are winning. That's the reality. And there's nothing good that's going to come out of that. Now, I don't know what the next 4 years is going to bring with these folks and for us, because God can always intervene and make things happen that we can't see right now. So I'm not giving up hope. I know it's a spiritual battle, but America, the Christians need to wake up. The Christians they definitely don't stand up with boldness and courage. And we're seeing more and more that it's almost like the Christian feels that they have to appease evil. They have to appease them. They don't know that the truth and boldness is what will cause evil to diminish. So they in order to speak up, they have to be nice, they have to apologize, and they are under attack, and it's on both sides, that's for sure. It's not really the politics. It's not the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. It's we the people. And if these values are not lived in their homes, then it gives power to the government, because the young people are going to go out and vote in what they feel. And we have a lot of young folks who are leaving Christians' home to go to college in different locations, and they're angry young adults. They're mad at their parents. They don't respect their parents. And so they're not leaving home as strong Christians. They're leaving home as angry non-Christian, but in namesake only. And so it really starts in that home. If we don't change the way we treat the way we raise our children, we're never going to change the situation. That's where it got to start. Because if these kids are really, really Christian, they're not so easily seduced. The Bible said, train kids up in the way to go, and then when they leave home, they'll do the right thing. But that's not happening in the home. They don't respect their parents. They're mad. And so they'll vote in abortion. They'll vote in same-sex marriage because they don't respect their parents. They're not guided by those values. And that's where the problem is. The government does what the government does, and that is government is about power and wealth. Whether it's Democrats or Republican, they don't really care about the people. Once they get in office, it's about staying in office, and it's about lying to the people to get that vote again in order to stay in office. But if we, the people, were of values, we would see right through that and throw them out. It doesn't matter who it is. So the problem is in the people, not the government itself. How do you convince Christians that same-sex marriage is fine? And I ask that of a lot of Christians on my radio show and when I talk to them. They don't have an answer for it. They say, oh, they're here. These things are going to happen. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, they are. In the state of California, we are already taxed to death. We pay taxes for everything to a point that a whole lot of businesses have left the state. Do you know that there were people, Christians, who voted in this state of California for their taxes to be increased again? How do you convince people of that? You already can barely make it, and then politicians can put a ballot, whomever did it, a measure on the ballot and say, look, vote for this. You need more taxes. You need more taxes for the schools, to educate. We already paying taxes for the school. What's that gambling thing they do in California? What's that called? Lottery. What? Oh, lottery. That they told us we're going to bring in the lottery, and that's going to educate. We're going to use that money to educate the people. And the fools voted for the lottery. And then they tell us we're going to bring on this ballot. They say we need more money to educate the children, right? And the people say, oh, okay, tax me for it. And I was for sure that wasn't going to pass. How do you convince? And they're lying about the money going to the kids in the school. It's not going to the kids. It's going to the unions. It's going to the special interest groups. It's not educating. The children are dumb as a doorknob. As Forrest said, they've been miseducated, demoralized, devalued, and everything. And yet the folks voted for more taxes. I don't know how you could do that. And then I realized the reason that they were able to do it, because in the state, there are more people relying on handouts than there are those who are working. And those people who are relying on government free stuff, handouts, there are more of them, and they voted for taxes because they don't feel the pain of paying taxes. We do. And that's how they got away with that. The government has just taken over these people. And once you give somebody something, they're not going to give it up. They're not going to give it up. And they justify it. That's how we got more taxes in California. And that's the last thing that we need. More free cell phones. I don't blame evil for what it's doing. I blame the folks who call themselves Christians. Because evil doesn't have any power. Evil is an illusion. It only has power if it can convince you that right is wrong and wrong is right. And if you can't be convinced of that, it has no power at all. So even in that case, I still blame the Christians. Because just as Satan is doing what he's doing, working through the people who accept this stuff, God wants to work through us and prevent this stuff. And we do have the greater power in us than they have. But, I mean, we used to. Most people don't. By the way this thing went down, most people don't have it. They don't even have power with their children anymore. And evil went, and you could go here, Rob. Evil went and took advantage of the children and the young people and took advantage of them And that's how it happened. But it's really not about Romney or Obama. It's about we as children of God. The Christians have seen enough. In the last 4 years, evil has come to the forefront like never before, at least since I've been on earth. And the Christians see this, they hear it, they know about same-sex marriage, they know about abortion, they know that millions and millions of babies have been aborted over the years and are being aborted. They know that every day in the black community, over 1,500 black babies are aborted. And since you know who are encouraging these type things. And so that alone should motivate you to get up and go and do something about it. We can't rely on the government or the media. We're supposed to, anybody to motivate us. We're supposed to be self-motivated based on what's right. And Obama nor Romney didn't do it by themselves. They had other people who represented evil out there doing it, and the folks who represented good. I agree with you that we gotta talk to people about our values. We have to, each one of us are responsible, have the responsibility to do that. We gotta explain to them what we're about. We're about values. We're not about money. We're not about power. We are about values, and young people don't know that anymore. These values are not explained to them. And so the unions alone spent over $1 billion in the primary states. And so they had volunteer everywhere for months in those states, campaigning for evil and pushing their agenda to the young people. And so in the same manner, we have to teach our example, our values, but it gotta start at home first. We gotta be a living example at home. And when you're out there in the world, don't be afraid to speak your values. We gotta start educating, because the folks on the side of evil, they are as assured and believe what they believe, just as the folks on the side of good. And so when you discuss these issues with them, you can't convince them, because they have been convinced that evil is good, that evil is right. And so it still is put up on us, because the government is not going to do any more than we allow it to do. And if we live by these principles, the government has to do what we say. We got to vote in people who represent those values. And if they don't do it, vote them out. Don't give them another year, another 4 years, or another month. Take them out. Okay. And then things will start to change. And we are in California right now, but God is in California too. You know, and a lot of Christians have given up on California. A lot of Christians have given up on California, which is a big mistake. California is a beautiful area. It is paradise. But a lot of Christians in this last election, they went to different states to promote other candidates in different states, because they've given up on California. And then when they go to those different states, the people are mad that they're coming there. They don't want you to come from your state to their state when you got problems in your own state, and try to help them. So they're fighting amongst them. God is in us, and we can win the family back. We can get out. We have the power that the children of Satan don't have. And I don't think people really believe that or know that. But we don't have to give up on California. We can win it one step at a time. But if we all had the same mindset as brothers and sisters of Christ, then we would know we can win, and we would naturally unite together and take the country back from the children of Satan. That's all we will lose in California. People don't know that we have the power to do it. And so they give up. Even in your own personal life, if things don't go well right away, you give up. You know, okay, I'm an alcoholic. I'll just stay one. Oh, I failed at this job, so I'm just a loser. What's the name of that guy I like so much now? Albert Einstein had a quote that somebody gave me. They texted it to me, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know Albert had this kind of sense. And can you pull that up for me? When he says that we got to be more aware of ourselves. Here's Albert Einstein quote, one of them. It's not that I am so smart. I just stay with the problem longer. And that's one thing most people will not do. They will not stay with the problem longer. It's too painful. It has fear in it. And they want to just hurry up and get it over it no matter what it takes. It doesn't matter what it takes. I stay with the problem longer. If people would come out of denial, they would stay in parentheses, observe with the problem, parentheses again, ourselves, longer, every day and night. And so if you can stay with the problem longer by observing yourself day and night, you can win. But the problem is, most people don't realize the ego is feeling so much pain from observing yourself. You just say, you know what, forget about this, I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna call my mama. I'm gonna go hang out somewhere, I'm gonna do this. And that's why you're losing. You don't stay with the problem long enough. With California, a lot of people feel like we're losing California. And we are, because California seems like a difficult task now. And so rather than becoming stronger and having some insight and changing it, they're like, well, the hell with California, I'm moving. Where are you gonna move to? You go to Texas. They're starting to do the same thing in Texas. You're the same weak Christian in Texas that you were in California. You're not going to California with power. Going to Texas with power. You're going to Texas to rely on something that somebody else has built. Satan is there too, and it's going to change, because if you can't stand up in California, you're not going to stand up in Texas. You're the same problem. Isn't that amazing?
Right.
Anybody disagree with that?
No.
I don't care where I go, I'm the same person. Yeah. Now we heard that Texas is okay now. Everybody moved to Texas, even Satan's children. And so the war is going to be in Texas, and Texas will change too. That's all going to happen. It can happen here and now. It happens with us. The government is not Mitt Romney's fault. It's not the media's fault. It's not Obama's fault. It's our fault that happened. Because we lost our children over to evil, turned them over. And I'm telling you, folks, the moment you get angry and blame somebody else about your outcome, you lose. And right now, you don't need to be losing. You need to be aware, because we have some now, I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Let me say it like that. My mind want to say, we have some difficult days ahead, right? That may or may not be true. God can intervene at any time. And I have something to read about that too. But what God wants us to do is to be aware, stand by the gate and watch what's going on. Be aware of what's going on, so that we don't get lost in whatever it is going to happen. Children of God. And too many children of God are blind and can't see. Your hope is not in the government. Your hope is in God. Your hope is not in your friends and not in your parents. It's in God. It's in your parents while you're growing up, but once you become an adult, it's in God. And you really have to watch yourself so you can be careful not to get caught up in something else. We shouldn't be angry about the outcome. We should be wiser for it so that we can see what to do. Because once you become angry, it's going to be hopeless. It becomes hopeless. And you feel like it's just over now. Let's just lay down and die. Let's just wait and let whatever happen, happens. All right? So hopefully you don't fall into anger like that. Because it's not over. I got up this morning, the day after the election, I washed my face, I went and did my show, I do what I do. I watch myself, I allow myself to be sad, but I wanted to understand what happened. And we have lost the young people. Parents have lost their children to evil. They really have. And evil understand that. I am Justin Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. You can get involved anywhere in the world by calling 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND.